Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have another super cool Beast Kingdom figure to take a look at, another Jurassic World figure. We have had one in the past, which was a Jurassic Park style T-Rex. We've got another T-Rex now from them, but this is from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and I'm actually pretty darn excited about this one. I can kind of see it through the window area. The window area has a major glare, and the figure's kind of like pushed back a little further, so you can't see it too well here, but I had, kind of taken a look through the window a little bit, and it actually looks a lot nicer this time around than the older one they had released, so I'm very interested in popping this open and taking a look at it. But as far as the side of the box goes, you've basically got like a nice little preview there for the figure. Pretty much the same thing on the other side, and then here on the back again, more of the figure itself, again, just kind of showing it off, and also the fact that we have a light up feature there for the volcano, which I think is definitely going to look really cool. So, as always, let's pop the box open and check it out. And here it is in all its glory, and it definitely looks a lot nicer than the older one did. Let me readjust the camera here for just a minute. For some reason I expected it to be up a little higher. There we go, so we can now see it, a little bit at a better angle, but look at how cool it looks. First of all, the Rex looks phenomenal. They did a very good job on the sculpt. I think the only thing I noticed straight off the bat that's definitely a little off would be the length of the tail. The tail's definitely shorter than it should be, but, outside of that, it's a really cool looking version of a Jurassic World style T-Rex. We've got the volcano there, exploding there in the background. The gyrosphere here all beat up. Again, really nicely capturing that Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom scene. And you've also got the logo down here, which is always really cool as well. So definitely hyped about this. Let's jump to a closer look and check it out from there. So starting up here at the head sculpt of the T-Rex, you can see again when it comes to recreating the likeness of a Jurassic Park or Jurassic World style T-Rex, they definitely did a great job. I think the head sculpt looks very nice. We've got a really cool kind of a dynamic pose here with the Rex having its mouth open. Of course, recreating that moment in the film where it has just kind of stepped on the neck of the Carnotaurus. It's letting out a roar as the volcano explodes behind it. I would have loved to have seen the Carnotaurus included on here, and I think that honestly would have been fantastic, but it is what it is. At least we've got a pretty cool looking Rex. You can see all of the teeth are sculpted very nicely, and they're also painted very nicely. I don't see any sloppiness or anything. We've got a nice light tone there for the tongue on the inside of the mouth. Even the tongue actually has some nice texturing. You can see the detail there in the back of the throat also looks quite impressive for what it is. Again, very nice dark tone on the top of the mouth, and you've also got some variation of color here on the skin on the outside of the mouth as the skin is stretching with the mouth wide open. You can see the eye is painted with a yellow, given a nice black pupil, and look at how nice and vibrant the scale detail here is on the face. That's one thing straight away that impresses me a lot more about this one than the previously released T-Rex from this company, is how impressive the fine detail is, because I feel like the other one was a little bit muted if I remember correctly, whereas this one looks fantastic when it comes to the fine detail. We also have some nice dark tones of brown here on the face, and as you move through, it may be a little hard to really pick up on here on camera, but in person I can see that there is actually some variation of color. I think that there's a little bit of like a dark striping and stuff as you move through the course of the figure, and just a few different areas that do include a slightly darker shade of brown. But the only thing is, I feel like the coloration of this Rex matches the Jurassic Park T-Rex a little bit better than it matches the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom version of Rexy, because she's kind of more of like a lighter variation of a brown in that film, whereas this again has more of like the darker tones that you kind of see on her when she's a bit younger. But it is what it is, I guess. As you move back here into the neck, you can see some nice tensing in the neck. You can also see some scars and stuff here in the neck that have been painted out nicely with a light tone. And as you move back a little bit further, you see more of that. Again, a few more scars up there. You can also see the rib cage, some skin stretching here off of the stomach region. And again, just in general, even though she looks, pretty severely shrink wrapped here as far as the figure goes, I feel like the actual fine detail as far as the skin texture goes is very impressive. Far and away the best I've seen from Beast Kingdom. You can see the arms are sculpted out quite nicely. We've also got some nicely painted nails with a black, and you have a lighter tone here moving along the underside of the T-Rex down here into the stomach region, which you can see there. We even have some of those kind of larger scales that you would expect to see on the stomach region of a Jurassic Park style T-Rex. As you move back here into the legs, you can kind of see a seam where the leg was connected, but it's not super obvious or super visible. I don't think it takes away from the figure much. We've also got some nice muscle definition there as you lead down in both the thigh and calf. You can see the kneecap there. And then, of course, we've got the foot planted here on the ground. You've got a really nice looking foot sculpt for the T-Rex. You can see the nails are again painted with that nice glossy black, and you actually have the dew claw painted, which is really cool to see. And then you move out here into the tail of the T-Rex, and yes, the tail is definitely short. It's a bit too short overall, but at the same time, I think the entire thing looks pretty darn good, even with the shorter tail. You know, I'm still pretty impressed with the figure as a whole. You can definitely see that striping, that kind of subtle striping that's been applied to the tail, as well as, again, how impressive that skin detail is. I'm really quite blown away by that. You've also got some vegetation down here. Again, you've got kind of like the grassy look down here, some more vegetation leading back here. You can see that there's even like a dark wash that's been applied to the vegetation to give even that a little extra color variation, just to kind of liven it up a little bit. We've also got the gyrosphere down here, which you can obviously see is a bit broken, you know, smashed up. You can see that we've got the seats there on the inside, and everything seems to be painted nicely. The outside of the gyrosphere has that nice silver look, bluish tones for the inside, and you can see again how precise and nicely done the paintwork of this is. I'm very impressed. And then, of course, we've got the glass area here that you can see, which you can see through, a nice translucent look. And then you go here, of course, actually we can go to the other side of the Rex, which you can see again also looks very nice. Zero sloppiness that I can tell on this figure. Like, it's very, very well done when it comes to the paintwork and, of course, the sculpt work. You can even actually see more scars here on the leg of the T-Rex, and that's pretty impressive. You can see a few more up here, but as you move back here, this is an area that's not that visible, so it's nice to see that they went to the lengths of adding that, even though you can't see it that well when you look at it, especially from like the more dominant side. Again, really nicely done as far as that goes. But then you lead back here to the volcano, and you can see the actual rock formation of the volcano, and everything is just as highly detailed, honestly, as the T-Rex is, which makes it very impressive. And as you look at the lava, you can see the lava has a nice translucency to it, and also a bit of variation of color, as you can see lighter and darker tones as you move through the lava, which is really cool. And then, of course, the explosion up here, and yes, even the explosion has variation of color to it. As you can see, we've got whites, and then, you know, like a dark gray or a black and stuff. So very impressive overall. Again, the sculpt of this is phenomenal, but honestly, the paintwork and the entire thing just all together is probably one of the coolest things I think I've seen lately when it comes to a Jurassic collectible, and I really feel like they absolutely knocked this out of the park. Even the underside sports very nice detailing. I like that once you go under the vegetation, they have actually painted that out to kind of give it the, you know, dirt sort of a look with a light brownish tone. And then, of course, you've got the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom logo down here just to kind of polish it off. But that is absolutely awesome. Even with the shorter tail, which is honestly like my only complaint, that is a phenomenal looking model. Then, of course, one of the more exciting aspects to this model, on top of its very nice appearance, is the light up feature. So let's check that out. So we can see again that the lava is lit up, and it definitely helps to give it a pretty cool look. Kind of expected it to light up a little bit more than this. I'm not sure why. I just expected maybe even like the smoke to light up a bit. And maybe it's because the lights aren't perfectly dimmed in here. So I guess we could try to make the lights a little bit darker by turning them off altogether. But it's going to be a little harder to see on camera. Regardless, we'll give it a shot. So there, once we turn the lights off all the way, you can see it does light up pretty decent. I'm surprised we could see it as nicely as we can through the camera. But you can see it definitely lights the lava up pretty nicely. I think if we turn this light on, but maybe face it away a bit, you can kind of see how it looks now with the T-Rex there. It definitely looks cool. It's hard to get a really good lighting where the Rex is showing nicely, but the volcano lit up is also showing nicely, but it is still really neat. Definitely a nice little touch on the part of Beast Kingdom to include the light up feature. As far as the size, though, the model is a bit on the smaller side. Like, if we were to measure just the Rex, you're looking at slightly over 6 inches, or around 15, maybe heading toward actually just under about 15.5 centimeters. And then for a height to the top of the explosion of the volcano, also about 6 inches or 15 centimeters, somewhere in that vicinity. Width-wise, about 4.5 inches or around 11.5 centimeters. So it's not a large model by any means. And to help show you that, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our Beast Kingdom Tyrannosaurus Rex model. And you can definitely see, again, it's on the smaller side for sure, which at the, I think it's like $45, $50, somewhere like that price range for this. You know, it's definitely a little bit pricey, but I will say there's absolutely an upgrade in quality on this one, making it still, again, in my opinion, definitely worth the price. For another comparison, we have a Mattel Velociraptor and Dilophosaurus stepping in to again show you that there is definitely a smaller size here. And for one final comparison, we have a Takara Tomy Tyrannosaurus on the left here, as well as the supersized captives version of the Tyrannosaurus here on the right, next to our Beast Kingdom version here in the center. And you can see they're kind of similar in size, all three of these Tyrannosaurs. I will say the Beast Kingdom version is definitely a little bit larger, but overall, if you happen to have any of these figures, the Tyrannosaur from Beast Kingdom is only slightly larger. So this brand new Beast Kingdom Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom Tyrannosaurus Rex is absolutely awesome if you ask me. Like, I am a big fan of this. I think they really did a great job as a whole. The sculpt is phenomenal on this when it comes to the fine detail. Like, easily far and away the best sculpted figure I've seen from Beast Kingdom. Now, I'm not that familiar with the company, but I can tell you from my experience with the previous Jurassic Park model, this is way better when it comes to not just the appearance, but the fine detail. But generally, actually, like, the general appearance of the Rex looks really good here. Again, definitely looks like the Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, in this case, Tyrannosaurus. The paintwork is also really quite nicely done, very precise, very careful. So as a whole, the paintwork looks great. The actual coloration of the Rex looks really good as well. Again, in my opinion, looking more like the original Jurassic Park T-Rex, not so much the Fallen Kingdom version, because it should be a little bit lighter, but I really do quite like the colors, and I think it looks beautiful on this figure. The only downside to the T-Rex itself is the short tail. The tail is absolutely shorter. Maybe they could have curled the tail up or something just to kind of make it, all fit into the model itself. I don't think it takes away from the figure that much, but it is very obviously a bit too short. Outside of that, though, we've got a really nice base the T-Rex is standing on, nice vegetation, very highly detailed in that aspect as well. There's even like variations of browns and greens within the grassy areas. The gyrosphere looks great also, definitely is very nicely painted, nicely sculpted. I like the kind of broken appearance to it that we have there. And then, of course, the volcano behind it is also awesome. The light up feature is great. I think it works quite nicely and also has a nice amount of light to it. And we also have the lava, looks really cool. The explosion on the top looks fantastic. And then, of course, the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom logo on the underneath, which is actually the switch to turn the light up feature on. So overall, this thing is absolutely awesome. I think the only thing that could have maybe made it a little bit better would have been maybe like some sort of a sound effect that could occur with it. But even that's just kind of like a minor thing, because as a whole, even with the shorter tail, I feel like this entire thing is absolutely awesome. Definitely a great job from Beast Kingdom. So if you are interested in picking this up, I will include a link in the description to where I purchased mine on Big Bad Toy Store. So make sure you check that link, go grab this before it sells out, and also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.